Hello. Day 6. Here to day 6. Let's give it up for day 6 of being sick. Let's go. I tell you, man. Let me turn the music down. Seemed like it was a little loud. I tell you, man. This has probably been like the... I wouldn't say like it was like the most feeling like I'm about to die sick. Because I had that back in like 2018. I think it was 2018. I had a fever so bad. I woke up early. I just wandered and then collapsed on the couch in the living room. This is back when I was still at my parents'. But I collapsed on the couch in the living room and just turned on the TV to whatever was on, and it was Jimmy Neutron. And it was the episode where Carl Weezer was having a nightmare about lima beans, and Jimmy entered his dream, like his dream world, so he could like cure his fear of lima beans, I guess. And I was watching that episode with like a fever of probably 103, and I was just going in and out of consciousness, like not sure what was real and what wasn't. That was the closest I think I felt to dying. But the also like the day after, a fire started in the backyard, and that was also scary because I'm like, oh wow, I'm sick, and now the house is about to burn down potentially. But thankfully nothing bad happened. Thankfully we lived close to the fire department, so it was not that big of a deal. Anyway, side tangent aside, this has been like, it feels like the longest persistent sickness. I'm getting, my voice is back now. I've been watching like the clips that Student of God on Twitter made of my video that I posted yesterday, and it is funny. There's some like audio jank on his side from recording it. I guess screen recording with his phone, it looks like. But it's like my voice is still like super just dry and stuff. And today it's a little bit better, but it's still like I probably won't be 100% until the end of this coming week. I don't know. It's crazy. It's just had a long lasting effect on me. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it was a flu or something. I got it from my brother, but he hasn't had nearly as hard of a time as this as I have with it. So I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm old now. By old I mean almost 29, but it is what it is. He just turned 25, so you know he can tank it, I guess. But me in my ripe old age, I just can't bounce back so quickly like I used to. Anyway, jokes aside, I've been feeling better energy-wise, and I tell you, this whole week since I've been off work, I've drawn 20 or more pages of Little Miss Steele Volume 6 this week alone, which is just nuts. Like, that, I've never been this productive with drawing. And I've said, like, I've been floating around the idea that Volume 6 could come at the end of February or middle of March. I haven't given a definitive thing because I always want to, before I commit to something, know that I can guarantee that. I don't want to fail at a commitment, and I haven't so far with Little Miss Steele. So I want to keep up that streak. But man, if I keep going at this rate, I might be able to get it out in January. It just depends. Like, I have never had a lower drive to play video games. Like, I haven't been much into video games much at all, other than like, you know, just playing on the Switch, which is not even mine, it's my brother's Switch too. But just playing on that while I've been sick and didn't feel like drawing. That's basically been like the main time I've been playing games. Oh, and the mobile game Marvel Snap on my phone. But yeah, I mean, I've become less of a gamer. I've become less of a gamer in my old age. And just more, I've just been more absorbed into art. The more I do, the more I just want to do, because I want to get this stuff out there, and I'm excited for you guys to see it. Especially this volume. I know I say that about like every volume, but this one especially is just like, I think it's a really, really good volume story-wise. and I want to make sure it's just as good art-wise. So a couple of things. I'm going to start showing off the art. I've collected a few pages here. Made sure they weren't any major spoilers or anything. But nothing that I haven't already really shown. But there are a few artworks I have not shown publicly here. I've shown them in the Discord. I've shown them in private messages to people to get like their critiques on and stuff like that. But I have not shown all of these. So some of these are brand new. And look, if anyone wants to screenshot the stream, good luck. The quality is going to be potato, just because that's just how it works for me with streaming. Max I can do is 720p apparently. But yeah, I'm gonna show off some comic artwork here and excuse me, and go through it. So this is actually the first page of Volume 6. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Volume 5, the end, or rather Volume 4, the ending of that showed Little Miss Steele wielding light beams for the first time, this is something her mother can do. It's been mentioned that she can shoot beams of light from her fist, and V has never done this. She's only got half of her mother's power, so she didn't even know she could do this. And in this crucial moment where she has to protect her friends, she remembers this time where her mother was trying to get her to try and use light beams, and finally is able to pull it off. She's finally able to do it. And that's the climactic moment of Volume 4. What's up? It's at ha 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 C3J. I think that's Student of God because the profile. Hey, what's up? Anyway, I guess are you even subscribed to me? Like, did you just subscribe to me after the video? How'd you get here so fast? Anyway, that kind of summarizes Volume 4 and what happened. Volume 5 was kind of a recovery period, and in between kind of that. Now, Volume 6, one of the main conflicts will be her trying to figure out how she did light beams in the first place, because it was a moment of extreme duress. She doesn't really know what she did to do it. She's got to figure out what the technique is. So, a couple funny artworks here of her trying to do it 3 times here and failing, and then a little ball comes out. Now, people who have read Little Miss Steele up to this point know that Chester is the comedic relief character. He is the comic funny guy, and nothing has changed here. Nothing has changed here. He is still doing funny things, but he's serious this time. He's mewing. Is that how you mew? I don't know how you mew. But yeah, or is that mogging? I genuinely have no idea. Anyway, yeah, so you get some funny moments like this. Chester will always be the funny guy. You know, he'll get his time to shine. Rest assured, he will have a more story relevant episode or volume in the future. But he is going to always be the funny guy, right? That's always going to be his thing. This is a redraw, literally I just took the picture of the dude who dubs over the my name is Skylar White, yo, with the Vine Boom sound effects and everything. I just basically took that picture of him and just drew over it and made it Chester. I just thought that'd be really funny just to do this. And at first I did this for a meme. I did this I think maybe a month and a half ago. I just drew it for the sake of drawing it because I just thought it'd be funny. And I was like, I've got to work this into the story somehow. It's too stupid looking for me not to work it in here. And I mean, it doesn't look out of place either, because my art style is very much inspired by Teen Titans, which always played with the proportions of characters to make them chibis or make them make them hyper detailed or something like that. And Teen Titans Go does that too, but I just don't like Teen Titans Go because it doesn't have any of the story or character substance that the original had. But yeah, I try to keep that inspiration of 2000s cartoons going and being shown here, and this is one of the ways that I do it, is just by having these ridiculous faces. Another page here I'm actually gonna skip over the next one. I was gonna include it, but I'm gonna skip over it because I feel like it might be a little too informative. So unfortunately, you're not gonna see that. What you are gonna see is this one, which is again Chester is still being serious here, serious, and what's basically happening in the scene is LeJon and V, Lil Masteel, are having like a private conversation in a hallway. And of course, the rest of the band is peeking around the corner, trying to listen in on what they're talking about, trying to see what the tension is over here, right? Just friend things. It happens to all of us. Everyone should have a friend that does this because it's usually funny, unless they are a drama farmer and they're doing it to spread gossip. In which case, that they're probably not good friends. I know a few people like that, as recent videos have talked about. But anyway, and also the return of Cutie, the dog, which, by the way, I pointed out a few times now. Cutie was a real dog. She was my dog growing up, and my grandmother made this plate for us after she passed away. So I need to clean it. It's a little dirty, but yeah, I've held on to that for a while. So Cutie is in the comic, and I have to keep reminding myself when I'm drawing this. I'm like, they have a dog. They have a dog in the base. I need to keep remembering that, so that I don't just forget to draw Cutie. And then all of a sudden, 5 comics later, she hasn't appeared, and someone says, "Hey, where's the dog? Did the dog die?" And I'm like, "Oh, she's there. She's just hiding. That's it." And then I just sneakily go back and draw her into like 5 scenes from the previous comics. Anyway, I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to remember that she is there. So but also the funniness of it as well. She's a very plump dog, and she was a plump dog in real life. She was a very, very well-fed dog. I'll put it that way. Yep. But moving on to some action. New background shot. And I'll tell you my approach to this comic, which I've done in the past, but I've done even more here. I have drawn like a bunch of backgrounds that can have different assets to them swapped around. Like I'll draw a building, right? Or I'll draw a for the band's base, for a good example. In the band's base, I have 4 different angles of different walls of the base, right? And I have different elements. I have things on the wall, like decorations and planks of wood and stuff like that. I've got couches, beds, stairs, all that kind of stuff. And I can take those out, or I can put them in, or I can move them around however I want, and keep essentially using the same base drawings, but just change them depending on what the angle requires. And that is saving me so much time. That's one of the reasons why I've been able to draw 20 pages this week. The other reason is because my art style is fairly simple and cartoony. And the other reason as well is because I've recently gone through and redrawn a bunch of the artworks of excuse me, Lil Masteel and LeJon and Yvette and a few others. And basically, like, those artworks I've tweaked to be able to change the facial expression, change where some of the parts of the body are positioned and stuff like that, like the hands and feet and stuff. And it allows me to, like, instead of drawing the characters every single time, like from start to finish, drawing them every single time, I'm able to reuse artwork and tweak it for the scene to make it not look so obvious that it's just, you know, the same thing. It tweaks it to make it fit the scene and saves so much time on my end. It saves so much time on my end. And it allows me to do this while still making it look good. It doesn't take away the fact that the drawings, I think, are some of the best I've done for the characters. I think it still works for the scene. It doesn't look cheap, right? So the next one, I've shown this artwork off quite a bit, actually. There's nothing new about this other than I tweaked the lighting. I've been talking with Vonster, Von Klaus, Rise Again Comics. to try and get his thoughts on some of this artwork, because I really enjoy his comics. I value his opinion as a creator. I feel like his critiques are going to be far more beneficial for me than some random guy on the internet who doesn't like me, who calls my art crap. Those people just get ignored. But people who genuinely are like real people and are not trying to like drama farm or trying to like, I don't know, exploit you or something. I don't get that vibe off of Monster. So I'm able to, I think, trust his opinion a lot more on this. And like he said that, you know, so the characters in this scene specifically should be a little bit darker because they're in a dark alleyway. And I was like, you know what? Duh. That's such a like easy thing to point out. But sometimes it's just you need someone else to critique it, to point out the simple things, because sometimes we forget the simple things, right? Sometimes we totally forget it. I still, to this day, draw hands backwards. And it usually isn't until I'm done with the drawing that I notice it, or after I've posted the drawing and someone else notices it, and I'm like, God, why? It gets me every time. It infuriates me. But yeah, thankfully I have not done that here. And that would be really ironic if I did. But yeah, the simple tweaking of the lighting allows me to make the eyes as well look darker, and it makes the scene pop more, I think. So thank you for that critique, Vonster. Moving on to some more action shots. Madame Yvette, she has the ability to phase into shadows. She also drains people's souls to obtain this power. And the more souls she gets, the more powers she gets, essentially. That's how she works. And she can basically just like jump onto a wall that's in the shadow, slither around it, and then come out and just boom. And at first I had the scene where it was just this artwork up here and then this down here. And a friend said that she was a little confused about like what was exactly happening in the scene. She guessed it, but she wasn't entirely clear. So I added these two panels in between of V looking in kind of angrily, like stancing, like bracing herself, and then getting her face covered by the hand, and bop. So the cracks behind the wall, I think, sell it as well. The bricks flying and the inside wall of the building, just splattering apart and everything. I think it all works pretty well, while also being a more creative way of showing it. Having like the borders of the panels themselves be the walls, I think it's a fun way to show that someone is being shoved through different walls and stuff like that. Hail the chat, Lorenzo Sleestack. This is the second time I've seen Sleestacks today. There was a guy on Twitter that followed me, and I clicked his account to see what it was, and like his most recent post was a picture of some Sleestack with saying that they're better enemies than stormtroopers. This is the second time I've seen Sleestacks today. You might be the same person, I don't know, but that's really funny. I watched Land of the Lost probably when I was like 13 years old, and it was like a marathon, like an all-day marathon on a TV channel or something. And I was just like, I was obsessed with it for like a day. I was like, I can't stop watching. I had to keep watching it. But then they had like a reboot movie back in like 2014 that sucked. That I haven't heard anyone say anything good things about. I haven't watched it, but I have not heard anything good about it. But yeah, that was a fun little show. Of course, like, they couldn't use special effects or CGI or anything back then. It all had to be practical, so it's very goofy looking. But 13-year-old me was just obsessed with it, man. 13-year-old me was obsessed with it that day, and I don't think I ever watched it again after that. But I remember that. That's a clear memory for me. But yeah, the other thing I wanted to do with this is like kind of play with the depth of the shot as well. Like, have the hand be so up close and everything like this. I'm grabbing you. and kind of have her do that, and as well as like be all blacked out when she's in the shadow form on the wall, and all you could see are her eyes and her fangs. Like she's kind of a scary villain. It was written by some of the same writers as Star Trek. Okay, you know what? That makes sense. I mean, similar, not entirely similar. Not the same kind of, I guess, genre exactly, but I could see how that would work, because Star Trek was, I mean, very much largely practical as well, because you had to. But that's a show that I need to watch. That I've never actually given a chance to Star Trek. I need to watch. And from what I've heard on the internet, the new Star Trek isn't worth watching. So I need to go back and watch the original run of Star Trek and really get into it. But yeah, and then the last one I want to show here, Frostbang. Essentially, this is a flashbang, but it freezes you. See what I did there? And if you remember from Volume 2 of Little Miss Steel, if you read that, this was one of the things that her father, Night Vision, gave her whenever they had their little heart-to-heart confrontation moment thing, where he was like, you know what, here's a radio, call me if you ever need me. In fact, she uses the radio that he gave her in this episode as well. And the Frostbangs, which she has a limited amount of, she's using in this as well, which I think, did she use a Frostbang in the previous volume yet? I think she was going to in Volume 3. It was going to be like the same exact kind of scene here against when she was fighting Saul. But I took that out because I was like, let's save that for later. Let's save that for later. So, yeah. So this is all I'm showing today. I just wanted to show off some of the pages. I've drawn 20 of them. You know what? I can show one more page. It seems like it might be unrelated, but I promise you it is related. It is in the same volume. Got a little bit of a fun little reference Easter egg page here. The Mrs. of Oz. It's a talk show. Sharon Osbourne. Anyway, if the giant UK flag didn't give it away, right? But yeah, I'm still kind of debating on the lighting on this one. I think the lighting is a little too plain. Let me just kind of play around with it real quick. I kind of want to see what I can do with this. Oops, that's wrong. Let's take this down. I think it looks much better now, right, guys? It looks much better. I like to use the overlay feature. By the way, I use paint.net. It's basically just free Photoshop. It's really great. I like the pink. You know what? I think I know what it needs. It needs spotlights. Bro. Suddenly, this is now an art making stream instead of just an art showcase stream. Oh. Yeah, something like that. Something like that, and then copy and paste it, flip it to the other side. Do another one like this. Oh, that's wrong. Yeah. And then, something like that, maybe. Maybe I'll make this one a little bit less intense. Yeah, then just merge these two together. Maybe turn it down to like 200 instead of 250. It's still a little intense on the left side, so maybe 150. Yeah. I could get with this. Then merge that down on top of it. Yeah. The pink layer on top of it with the lights. I think it works. Excuse me. Star Trek, the original series, has some cheesy elements, but they also dealt with a lot of social and ethical issues that are still relevant today. Yeah, I've heard the storytelling in Star Trek was very relevant to the time, and still today. I've heard that, and see that's something. Let me turn my light on so you can actually see me. It's starting to get dark. There we go. That's something that I feel like a lot of media today has sort of lost. Is they don't, instead of like trying to be a little more subtle about it and like tell a meaningful story about, like, you know, some ethical issues that are happening today, instead of being creative about it and having like a fictional race or a fictional group of characters or whatever, they just say screw the fictional stuff. We'll just be blatant. We'll be very obvious instead of trying to be a little bit subtle. And I feel like that's sort of just it takes me out of it, because especially for like a sci-fi series or like a fictional universe that's kind of supposed to be its own thing, when you start putting like literal real world problems into it, I feel like it risks becoming just a PSA, a glorified PSA. I feel like that's something that a lot of stuff today struggles with. But a lot of stuff back in the day, even up to the 2000s, did a lot better. Let me turn on my other light, because that's not doing it. Bad news, my light bulb has blown. There will be no light. Very, very unfortunate. This is the best lighting I've got right now. And you know what? Screw the camera. I'm putting this up. Absolute cinema right here, okay? But yeah, I really like this. I really like the lighting and everything. And you know what? In fact, I might even paste it. Might even do this. Maybe stretch it out a little bit. Yeah, that looks better. Or it should probably be from this angle. Yeah, something like that looks a little bit better. I wasn't intending this to become a art stream, but this is what I'm doing, I guess. Let me actually open up. Excuse me. Let me actually open up the editable version and put it here. Call this layer tone. Put on 60. Overlay. Pink. Lighting. We'll put this on. What was it? 150, I think I did. Take that. Put it on there. Yeah. That looks much better. That looks much better. I still might tweak some things to it, but yeah. I might do stuff like that. Might do some more lighting touches and stuff like that. Also, like, the heads of the people in the audience are all drawings like I've done before this point. Like, even, like, not even that long ago. But just, little, individual drawings that I've done that I just blacked out and used the silhouettes for. But yeah, part of making comics is knowing how to, like, use your resources to get things done as quickly as possible while not making it look bad. While not sacrificing the quality of the actual product. But yeah, so I'll close this one. And I'll save this. Takes a little while to save, but I really don't have any complaints about this over Photoshop. It's just a really well-made copy, essentially, is what it is. It's just a really well-made free version of Photoshop, and there's mods for it as well. There's mods that I've got attached that let me do an outline tool, which would be the equivalent of like the stroke tool in Photoshop, and that saves me a lot of time as well when it comes to making the speech bubbles. It saves me a lot of time that I can just press a button and make it outline everything instead of having to do it all by hand. So much better, so much better. Yeah, the original series had to be careful not to be too heavy-handed with the message because they were dealing with censorship from the TV network. But see, like, I feel like that, and also in the case of like Batman the Animated Series, this is a random comparison, I know, but like, hear me out. Batman as a kid's cartoon had limitations that it could not show, like, originally. It could not show Batman directly punching someone. So a lot of the times, like, you would see Batman throw a punch, and then it would cut to the person flying back. And somehow that doesn't trigger the censorships, because it's not showing someone getting punched by Batman directly, but you still know that he's punching someone. And all that kind of stuff. Like, there's certain restrictions like that I think are, in a way, good, because it forces creativity. Because a lot of the fights in Batman the Animated Series are more creatively directed and flow really well, because it's not just Batman punching a bad guy 12 times in a row. So, like, I feel like things like that allow more creative storytelling with how they can still tell the message, but they just have to be creative with how they tell it. And I feel like that doesn't really exist anymore. I feel like they're not doing that anymore, and I think it's while yes, technically there's more freedom than before, it's still the unrestriction causes a sort of, I don't know. Just without restriction, you sort of just go to the path least resistant, and I feel like that can make it come off as cheaper or not as interesting. The app is not browser based, not that I'm aware of. You do have to download it, but it's pretty simple. Just look up Paint.net, and you download it from there. Just make sure you've got like ad block so it disables all the fake download buttons and stuff like that. This way you make sure you're not getting the virus. But yeah, I mean, like, that's with almost every website nowadays. I saw a post on Twitter that it was like, I don't care how many times you tell me, I'm not disabling ad block, YouTube. And I mean this, literally. I would wait a full minute in silence than watch a 15-second ad from YouTube. I would rather just wait a minute in silence in between listening to songs than listen to 15 seconds of an ad. I am that dedicated to screwing YouTube. Alfred Hitchcock often avoided showing the violence, like when the woman gets stabbed in the movie Psycho. One sees a knife and the blood going down the drain. Yeah. You know what? Batman did a similar thing. Instead of showing his parents getting shot in the 90s animated series, instead of showing them getting shot, you hear a scream and a bang, and a sewer tunnel rises from the ground, leaking murky water, which looks almost red, brownish red, and the sewer tunnel ends up becoming the barrel of a gun. And I'm like, that is incredible. That is an incredible shot. It's because they couldn't just show the guy shooting people. It's that kind of limitation that causes people to be more creative. I believe most of the violence in the Immortal Hulk comics was off camera. I'm not too familiar with the Hulk comics, but I'll take your word for it. But yeah, so I got the art stuff out of the way. I'm gonna do I'm gonna check out some notifications on Twitter, because a couple things have been funny. There have been some things being blown up here, and I guess I could show my screen. Here. Window capture, come on. Where's it at? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I don't think I'm showing anything crazy by doing this. My sins have been forgiven. My prior sins talking about the Riververse have apparently been forgiven, because Student of God has followed me. In fact, he was the first comment on this stream, which I guess means he subscribed to me as well. YouTube doesn't really tell me when people subscribe to me. I don't get notifications. It's scarier when the violence isn't directly shown as it leaves it to the imagination. Yes. Yes, that exactly, yes. But just to be clear, all of my, like, takes, all of my issues I've had with the Riververse still stand. Like, my opinions have not really changed on that. I still critique the comics and say that most of them are, like, mid, if best. There's a few that stand out to me. I really like Alpha Core, and Horseman. I think Chuck Dixon is a much better writer than Eric July. I think he's much better than the Soska sisters. Obviously, that's evident in his work. His long stuff, his long history of stuff. Yeah. Obviously, that's evident. I don't think that the comics are terrible, other than Yaira. I really did not like Yaira, but I think there's potential there. I think there's potential, and for Eric being a first-time writer, I can forgive some of the stuff about it, right? Oh, you've been subbed to me. Oh, okay. Well, thank you. But yeah, I'm just gonna check this out. Enlightened Fan is someone who gotten like multiple comments of stuff, multiple paragraphs of comments on my videos, on my Twitter. Like he would leave like 3 paragraphs a comment, and I would be like, cool. I'm not reading all that, bro. I read like the first couple, and I was like, I can't be reading all this, man. Anyway, Norfolka. I will say the idea of Norfolka, I thought was really interesting. It was taking basically 2 cultures and kind of just like colliding them together. That's what I find that to be more unique, as a premise. I would check out Norfolka. My only problem is like, especially this time of year, I'm spending a lot of money on gifts. I can't really afford to be buying comics left and right. I am still in the Riververse Facebook group. I might be able to like talk to people in there and say, hey, can you resell me? Or if you really hated it, just give it to me for free. I doubt anyone in the Facebook group is gonna like hate it and give it to me for free, but they might resell it to me. Similarly, how I'm trying to get my hands on a Cyberfrog copy, just so I could finally actually review it, and like, because I've been told Cyberfrog is good. I don't even hear people say, I don't even Van Sciver haters, I don't even hear them say Cyberfrog is bad. It's mainly they just have a problem with him as a person, which I have a problem with him as a person too, obviously. But I still want to review Cyberfrog. I want to review some stuff from him, just to see, like, you know, what is all the hype about, right? Are these comics as good as people are like defending this man over? Is it that worth it? That's what I want to find out. You never read Cyberfrog? Wow. Yeah. I have not read it. And I'm trying to find like a copy someone's trying to resell or something. There was someone who commented on my YouTube video that was like, I've got like a bunch of Comicsgate stuff, and I was like, hey, if you want to resell that to me, like, hey, I'm down for it. Hail, student of God. Yep, he's here. But yeah. Anyway, Lion Fan says, one more thing. Riververse is a company, not a crowdfund. The most you will get out of obsessing with those pre-order campaign numbers is counting how much revenue they get every year, and guess what? This year is the most they've ever gotten. So the numbers are growing. True! They put out a lot more products this year, which by default I think would make that their best number. Like, a lot of people say like the Riververse is doomed. The Riververse is going under. I've never really subscribed to that theory. I don't think they're going out of business. I think obviously the numbers have shrunk from year 1 to year 3, and part of that is there was a lot of hype from even freaking Fox News, of all people. Fox News, the corporation Fox News, was talking about this comic book. There was a lot of hype from right-wing people into getting into this comic. And obviously that would like inflate the sales a little bit there. What they're doing now, I think they're doing fine. I think the numbers are fine. It's just not, clearly, obviously, not as high as 2.3 million with, or what was it? It was 3 point something million for ISON 1, wasn't it? I can't wait for you to read Cyberfrog 1 original with all screw ups. See, my issue has always been the hypocrisy. I've never heard of any of the screw ups with Cyberfrog, so I'm curious. Anyway, and you know, that's always something as well. The Rippaverse is like, you get your products. Is like, I think it really where the divide stands, where you've got people that are like hard supporting the Rippaverse and hate Comicsgate, and people who hard support Comicsgate and hate Rippaverse. I think it's a difference in what you value. Do you value getting something that is like very high quality, very good artwork, a lot of people like the stories, right? And then you've got the consistency. Do you value consistency in a timely manner, or do you value something that you find is more high quality, right? And that's where that is going to be the determining factor of which you are more of a fan of. It's going to be that. It's going to be based on that, like the quantity or the quality, whatever you find to be more important. And I'm someone who, of course, I value both. Which is why I like Vonster. I like that every time, like, I've gotten a comic from him, I've gotten it. And he does things in a fairly timely manner, compared to everyone else in Comicsgate. He does things in a pretty good, timely manner. I can't wait for Terror in the Trenches 2, because that was really good. But yeah, I mean, it's just there's going to be that divide in what you value more potentially, and where you see that value. Because some people look at the Rippaverse stuff and say, "I like this better than Comicsgate." Okay, fine, that's your opinion. And if you find more value there in the artwork and the stories, and you like the consistency, there you go. That's it. Fundamentally, it's different because the Rippaverse is a company with people that work there full time, 5 days or more a week. And everyone in CG is basically just like one or two people, sometimes three with letterers, that are doing this. And there's a fundamental difference. There's an expectation difference. I don't expect a team of one or three people to be producing art as detailed as this, to deliver like a new comic every 3 months like the Rippaverse is. The Rippaverse also has multiple teams of people that are doing the comics and also outsourcing some of the art to like a different studio or something. I don't know what the name of the studio is, but I've seen that. So I mean, they've got everything going for them. They got some infrastructure and stuff that allows them to put out stuff faster. So yeah, I mean, it just basically just means it depends on what you value more, I guess, and which you find to be more satisfying stories. I've made it clear that I'm critical of a few of the Rippaverse stories, and some of them I like, some of them I don't like. But the Chuck Dixon stuff has been pretty good for me so far. High quality fallacy. See, when Ethan reprints his books, he fixes the screw ups. I'm sure he does. My thing is like, my thing is again, I think it's more understandable to make mistakes when you're just one guy, as opposed to like a company of people like with like people with like multiple different positions of like editor positions, right? I think it's more understandable for that. And if I ever get a comic, which I've gotten comics from different people in CG and read them, sometimes physical, sometimes digital. But if I see a screw up from one of those guys, I'm like, okay, they're just one or two people. if I see it from like a professional, like a Marvel or DC or something, I'm like, how did that get past quality control? That's the kind of thing that makes me think. And that's another issue that, like, you know, the Rippaverse has to face, is that if they make mistakes like that, they get called out, similar to how Marvel or DC would be called out, because they're a company, a young company. So again, a little bit more gracious there, but still, there's some stuff like that that has to be, you know, if you got people in editor positions, you know, you got to make sure you're doing it right. So you are right about Vaughn's comics. Yeah, I mean, like, I think he's genuinely making some of the best stuff in the scene, and I think Vaughn can still do everything he's doing now. I think he can still be just as successful now as he was before this whole debacle. I think he doesn't need to be part of CG or the Rippaverse crew, whatever. I don't think he needs to be part of all that. I think if anything, he's freer from distractions and stuff. I think he's able to do more, be more productive with it. Of course, obviously, being separated from that group means you're being separated from the promotional, the cross promotional, and the built-in kind of fan base that you would get from the people who watch the streams and stuff like that. So I wish more CG creators would give more monthly progress updates on campaigns, even if it's just a couple of sentences. I will say, I think Van Sciver has been doing more art streams recently. Sorry, that was burp. I appreciate that. That's something, in Lorenzo, I think you're onto something there. I think that if you're going to be a streamer, as much as you are an artist, you should stream the art as much as possible. And that's why, like, I don't think I'll ever do as much streaming as I do artwork, because a lot of times when I'm doing artwork, I'm listening to music, or I'm listening to like a documentary or something while I'm doing the art, and I get in the flow state and I start like getting super productive doing multiple pages. And the stuff I listen to on stream would get copyright struck. So I don't, you know, I don't want to deal with that nonsense, especially with how YouTube is. Have you seen the stuff on YouTube? People have been getting flagged by some kind of AI bullcrap that YouTube's got going. Insane. It's crazy, man. I got the comic he did with Norwal, Cave Slave. It's okay. Cave Slave. I probably heard of it, but I don't know. I don't know it. I don't know it off the top of my head. I can't picture it in my head. It does sound familiar, but I don't think I've seen that one. Anyway, Snugs says, getting kicked for no reason isn't new for Comicsgate. Melted down before I entered the sphere in 2019 and again in early 2023 when I left. CG ain't worth spending time or money on. See, like, that's where I think you're a little bit wrong. I think the meltdown is nothing new. That's true. That's true. I think there is some creators worth spending time and money on. Like, I think Vonster is someone who is like making some really good stuff, delivering stuff in a timely manner, and like, you know, actually doing good stuff. I think there are people in the movement that are worth the hype. I think there are people that are actually worth the hype and stuff. And for what it's worth, I think Van Sciver's artwork is great. From what I've seen, obviously, he is good at what he does. And it's hard to critique Van Sciver, to be honest. It's hard for me to do it because I know his life circumstance. I know all the stuff he's got going on. And I don't want to discount that by just saying, just draw faster, just do better or whatever. Like, I don't want to just do that. Oh, what the heck? All Students of God's messages just got redacted. What the heck? Is this the Epstein files? He's redacting all of his messages. What the heck's going on? Have you seen the CG documentary that is near 100,000 views, How to Destroy a Movement? I did see someone commented that Salazar, something like that. EVA art is very good. His writing, however, is very lacking. See, that's what I want to find out by reading Cyberfrog. I want to find out like what it actually is. I watched a review by Literature Devil years ago about Cyberfrog, but I've forgotten all of it now. Anyway, I don't know what happened to all of Student of God's comments. I have no idea why he just redacted all of them. Retracted all of them, it says, actually, not redacted. I don't know what happened there. But, oh yeah, Last Matt. Yeah, that's who it is. That's who it is who commented that. I don't know, I'll probably check out the video. If it's a long video, I'm probably not gonna watch it. I'm just gonna be honest. Unless, like, I'm in the zone, like, drawing again, and I'm like, I need a video documentary to get me through the art stuff. I'll do that. But something like that would probably get me too involved. Like, I'd probably get, like, too confused or annoyed or something. I might get too distracted from that and lose focus on the art. But yeah, I heard the OG Cyberfrog from the 90s was edgier. Sometimes I had to remind myself that Cyberfrog is not a new thing. I had to remind myself that it's an old thing, similar in vein to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Obviously, TNMT is older than that. But I just think of the two kind of similarly because frog, turtle, kung fu, whatever. Anyway, let's see. I've seen a lot of the books you guys do. There's nothing to brag about, and they're not special either. Maybe next time you'll focus more on your work and less what you think one man should be doing. Who is this in response to? No one. He responded to himself 3 times. There he goes again. He does it so many times. Anyway, I was talking about I was talking about this, and then he was like, "You carped." What does carped mean? He didn't criticize anything. That I did. I literally did. That's what people don't want to hear. What? Well, guess what? Now it's too late to fix what you could have had. Look where that has gotten you now. Not to mention the gossip as well. Not to mention, I've not lost anything. I had never had anything to lose. I've never been like in tight communication with anyone at Comicsgate. I guess other than Vonster now, and even then it's just a few messages on Twitter. I mean, like, what? I did back in like 2022, 2023 reach out to a bunch of like comic creators from both like the Riververse side and from CG, and like ask about like, hey, do you have any like possible like artists to pair me up with or something, or writers or something, like just that we could maybe team up and do stuff. I did ask that a couple of times. I'm a little embarrassed about that. I've done it anyway. I've done the work anyway. Carped is maybe referring to flailing. Carp's flail. Magikarp, he does learn flail, and he does splash. Not to mention you ignore everything you were told because it wasn't what you wanted to hear. No, I ignore comments that are too long, like yours. Well, now you guys don't have to worry about that anymore because you screwed yourself. How did I screw myself? What have I lost? Over as a movement for doing it. Also, I've seen a lot of the books you guys do. They're nothing to brag about. Okay, that's your opinion. And they're nothing special either. Again, your opinion. Maybe next time you'll focus more on your work and less on what you think one man should be doing. It's not just one man. El Gusto. Where are all you people coming from? I was streaming and doing stuff earlier this week. All of a sudden you're here. I guess it's because of recent events or whatever. But yeah, I don't, this guy's like he's too obsessive, man. He's too permanently butthurt about stuff. It's crazy. It's crazy. I never had anything to lose with this. I don't know what he's talking about. I guess he's assuming like I'm part of Comicsgate or something. Like I've never been. Like I've never been part of anything as far as like comic book groups. Like I've never been part of anything. I'm just a guy. I have like no no history of credibility or anything like that as far as in the comic industry professionally, I should say. I don't know. Line Fan is an interesting fellow. He is an interesting fellow. He's entertaining. I'll give him that. Maybe the last Matt will have you on his show. No drama. I don't know. I guess I'd be down for that. If it means I get to shout out my comic, I guess that's fine. Student of God Census. The ha 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 guy in chat. Yes. Why is your name ha 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 ha? Why is it that? Like what? Why would it be that? Line Fans are a special little guy. He could be over exuberant. See, like I feel like am I wrong potentially for saying that Enlightened Fan is like the Rippaverse version of Liam Gray a little bit? is there a comparison to be made here? I think there's a comparison here. Anyway. Those things can be easily avoided if people just put aside their ego and talk to one another. Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't mention enough. I think in my video was communication. If people just talked, if people just like spoke with each other, or at least made it clear to everyone that they are speaking with each other in the background, it would be a little more reasonable. Like if I knew that Van Sciver was telling Vonster in the background, like, hey, I'm gonna kick you from the group if you don't join the streams more often, you know, or if you don't communicate in the Discord more often. If I knew that Van Sciver, if he showed like a screenshot of a message or whatever, that showed him doing that, that would at least give me some clarity, give everyone involved, like everyone watching anyway, this whole thing take place. It would give people clarity that at least there was some level of communication done. As it is right now, I have no reason to believe that there was any communication whatsoever. Especially since Vonster himself said that he found out he was kicked because of Liam's stream. Oh, man. If you ever have questions about the Rippaverse, Enlightened Fan could probably answer in encyclopedic detail. Hey, you know what? Look. The super fans are what keep fan bases alive. Like, the people that are like that start the Wikipedias. They start the fan websites that keep track of everything and stuff like that. Like, you need people like that, but you also need to dial people like that back a little bit whenever they go a little crazy. But yeah, man, I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's just crazy. The whole thing that's taking place is just crazy. But, I did get a comment from Liam on, my initial post sharing the video from YouTube to Twitter. I did get a comment from, I think it's Liam's account. It's not verified, but I think it is his. It's got more likes on that comment than the others, so I'm assuming it probably is his. It doesn't look like a bot or parody account. It looks like his. And I'm just not going to reply to it. Like similar with Enlightened Fan, I'm just not going to reply. Because I know that I'm not going to change your mind. I'm not going to accomplish anything by getting in a comment war with you. I know it's no use. I know there's no point to it. There's no point to it. Like they can say whatever they want. At the end of the day, I don't care. Did you see the new Ethan clip from last night? It's throwing me off because my name is also Ethan. Did you see new Ethan clip from last night where Ethan continues to lie that Monster was leaking DMs from the King's Room? I've heard something about leaking DMs. I don't know. I don't know any of that. I'm not going to speak on that because I don't know it. There's no sense in me talking about it. I have heard it, but I don't know anything about it. So I didn't mention it in the video. I'm not going to mention it here. Enlightened Fan helped me place an order during a Ripper curse. I'm pretty sure you meant to say Rippaverse sale. I still need to read the books I ordered though. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, the Rippaverse, if anything, it's consistent at putting stuff out. Oh, Eldegusto, subscribe. Thank you, Eldegusto. If they're anything, they're consistent. But yeah, you know what? Since I got all of you in here, oh, my bad, I did it wrong. Since I got all of you guys in here, check out Little Miss Steel. You know, when the monitor actually has like something bright on it, the lighting is not nearly as bad. I need to just get a light and just put it up here so that I can actually have like a good setup after dark. Ethan is a very cursed name. All right, you're banned. And I think someone like a while back said something like EVS comics, EV comics. The EV has been like my thing since 2011. Like I started this channel back in like late 2011 to be like a Pokemon YouTube channel, and it was called EV Sceptile. And that's like for a while, for many years, that's what I did was Pokemon and gaming content. And EV in Pokemon games stands for effort values. And then it became EV Variety. Whenever I stopped doing mainly Pokemon, I started doing like just a bunch of different games and stuff like that. And then recently, like a couple years ago, I changed it to EV Comics because this is what I'm doing now. What I'll be doing for the long foreseeable future. But yeah, this is Little Miss Steel. You can check it out. It's just me. I'm doing all the writing, all the art. I've been doing digital art since late 2019. Always trying to improve, always trying to make this stuff look good. I got a lot of good comments from people who buy it in person. I'll sell at local like shows and stuff like that, and local events. And the people that buy it and come back and like buy volume 2 and 3 and 4 and soon 5. 5 is already out, but people be buying the physical stuff. And seeing the kids, especially the kids saying like they really like this and they want to read more, I'm like, oh, amazing. I love that, man. It's such a good feeling. It's such a good feeling. It motivates me to do this more than anything. But yeah, yeah, I mean, like the comic's been doing pretty good. Even Global Comics gave it a shout out with like a short video, TikTok, all that kind of stuff. They posted it everywhere. And they got the synopsis a little bit wrong. They didn't ask me anything about the video. They didn't ask like for my approval to make it or like anything about the commentary. They didn't contact me at all. I contacted them and asking like, hey, is there any way that I can get a video made? And didn't get a reply. It just popped out. The video was just made. And I was like, okay, I guess I won't complain since you did it. But they did get the synopsis a little bit wrong. But for the most part, it's all right. It's all right. But yeah, so this is the comic. If you want to check it out, I'll link it in the chat. Let's see if you want to check it out. Totally free. All of it just totally free. Yeah. If I was doing this only for money, I would have quit a long time ago. If I was doing this just for money, I would have quit. I started my channel back in 2011 as an archive for older videos and then toy reviews. Then I shifted in 2018 after I initially joined CG. Okay. 2018. So you've been doing this. You've been doing comic stuff longer than me. But yeah. But yeah, it's just been fun to do this, man. It's fun to take what I loved about cartoons growing up and applying that to comics. Like taking the action, the fun, the character development of stuff like Teen Titans, X-Men Evolution, Star Wars to Clone Wars, back when Star Wars was still good. I'm drawing a blank. Oh yeah, Danny Phantom, and even stuff from the 90s too, like the X-Men series, Batman, Superman, Batman Beyond. The cover art looks like a style that will resonate with young people. I think so too, and I think, thank you for that. But I think what I try to do with this art style is I try to make it almost look familiar. I try to make it look like a cartoon you've seen before. Like it doesn't look like just one cartoon. I've been told by like many people that it looks like either Teen Titans, Danny Phantom, Samurai Jack, Total Drama Island, which is not even a 2000s cartoon, but they told me that. an Adult Swim cartoon. I can't remember the name of it. I never watched it, but it was an Adult Swim cartoon. That had thick outlines for the characters and hard shading and stuff. I can't remember. Man, I can't remember what it was. At this point, but yeah, I mean, I've been told like several different cartoons. And that's the fun thing. Now the majority of people who like look at my comics and like say what it makes them think of, they almost always like if there's going to be a large majority of people that say it, like the highest percentage of cartoons that people say it looks like, it's Teen Titans. People say Teen Titans, which is a huge compliment to me. I'll look at Little Miss Steel. Thanks for the leak. Thank you. I do comics for fun. I've gotten and received criticism and learned to grow as a result. It may not be to everyone's taste, but I am appealing to a niche audience, and I'm having fun doing that. All right, we'll keep having fun, man. It looks like Fritz the Cat. Clone High. I've been told Clone High before. Fritz the Cat, I don't think I've been told before, but Clone High, yes. I've had someone say that before too. I'll show you a little bit. Volume 1, I recently retouched some of the artwork. By the way, this cover art is not drawn by me. It's drawn by Kim Kai Drawings on Twitter, Instagram, and I'm assuming everywhere else. The guy is a really good artist. He's a better artist than me. And I was like, hey, can you do a commission for me that I'll use for a cover for Volume 1? And when I reprint Volume 1, it's going to be with this cover. So the cover A's, I guess you would call the initial one, which by the way is the is this right here. This was cover A. I still like this cover, but I love this artwork so much. He took my character and basically just like put her in his style, and it looks great. But yeah, by the way, this artwork here was drawn by my friend Sixus. This guy is also a very talented artist. I asked him, I said, hey, can you do an 80s comic book style for this? And he said, yeah, I could do that. So I commissioned him to do this, and man, he did such a good job with this. There's some other artwork of his that appears too, that I think is just it's really good, man. He does a really good job with that. But yeah, I recently touched up a little bit of this artwork. This bust looked terrible before. Let me show you the old bust, man. This is from like late 2023. Let me show you the original bust. It's so funny looking at the original bust compared to this one. Where is it at? Where's the old bust? I need the old bust. No, that's the new bust. Where's the old one at? Come on, where's the old one at? Don't tell me I deleted the old bust. Don't tell me I deleted it. Oh yes, here it is. Okay, here it is. I'll try to find. Yeah, here we go. I'll just open it in the browser. Bruh, what is that buzz? What is that buzz, bro? What is the buzz? I don't know what I was thinking with this thing. I don't know what I was thinking. But it's crazy. Like, there's not even that much different between this shot and the remastered shot. But just adding the outlines to stuff and obviously drawing the bus to make it look like an actual school bus. Just the little things do so much better. Also, Global Comics is the GOAT. I'm going to say it right now. Global Comics, for webcomics, it's the GOAT. It is the GOAT. Because I have gotten so much more exposure, so much more views on this than Webtoon ever did. Webtoon, dead to me. Tapas, dead to me. I tried both of those before. They're dead to me. The algorithms suck. Everyone on Webtoon just wants to watch Korean romance novels, graphic novels. That's all they want to see is the Korean style, art style, romance mangas. That's all they want to see. And you know what? That's fine. That if you like that, that's fine. But it basically means if you're trying to do anything else on Webtoon, good luck, man. Good luck, man. That's all I'm gonna say. 2002. That was in the days of old. Yes. But yeah, immediately right off the bat, like I wanted to show people that the art style can be goofy and funny. At 1 second, the eyes can look like this, and then the next page they look normal. Sometimes we can even get to some Looney Tunes level of goofiness. Sometimes the girl's head could turn into a lollipop because she gets smushed against the back of the seat. But then if you fast forward like 20 pages, it can also get like this. And that's one of the things that I thought was so fun about Teen Titans, was that it was never just one. It was never just like one thing. Like every episode could have like a different tone to it. It could be more comedic. It could be more serious. It could even be dark at times. And I love that about Teen Titans, man. I love that about old cartoons and the way they handled subjects and stuff like that. That was really good. Webtoon is where I read my Korean isekai. Accidentally called you out. I'm sorry. Again, if you like those stories, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that if you are a comic creator and you want to create anything else and you want to put it on Webtoon, good luck. Good luck getting it visibility. I know one other person that uses Global Comics. It looks very user-friendly. It's super user-friendly. It's so simple. Webtoon has had like multiple things where they did like the formatting of stuff. That was weird. And it went through a couple of revisions and stuff like that. Global Comics, as long as I've used it, it stayed the same, man. They just know what they're doing over there, man. This is one of my favorite little pages from Volume 1. Chester with fire hair. But yeah, there's some good stuff here. Anyway, I'm gonna not spoil the rest of Volume 1 for you. I will show you a little bit of Volume 2 as well. But yeah, the cover for this, Stonehold. Fun fact about Stonehold: oldest original character that I've made. I made this guy back in like when I was like 8 years old. I made it as like a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Oh no, excuse me. I made it as a Pokemon, and it was originally called Mudmar. There's a Pokemon called Magmar that uses magma, and Mudmar uses mud. So very creative, I know. But anyway, Kid Me was like, I kept drawing this character. Like as I kept getting older and stuff, every now and then I would keep drawing this character every now and then. And eventually I was like, you know what? I could totally use him as a villain in Little Miss Steel. I just like went back and updated his design, and turned him into a wrestler parody as well. Turned him into a wrestler guy as well. But yeah, a lot of little funny moments here. The funny story with this this drawing here, this guy running away, and this guy running away, are two people that won a fan art contest. They won a fan art contest that they were doing for like Little Miss Steel, and I said, for winning, you get to have your character, whether it's just a cartoon version of you or if it's your own character that you made. You get to have those characters put in Little Miss Steel. So I drew them, and I said if anyone wanted to support the Ko-Fi page, they could have their characters put in here too. But until then, they're just like, silhouettes of people. And I can totally go back and add those in. That's the good thing about webcomic too, is you can totally go back and edit stuff or whatever. But yeah, here's Stonehold. Here's Stonehold. Cartoonish money bag. But yeah. There's some stuff looking back I would do differently, as I think everyone can relate to looking back on anything they've done. There's stuff you can do differently. And eventually I probably will get to remastering Volume 2 as well. But yeah. Dropped a link for a Lasmat? I thought I did drop the link. Didn't I drop the link for Global Comics? Oh, what's up, Nomad? Been doing good. Well, I've been doing badly as far as health-wise because I've been sick all week. But I'm on the up now, and feeling much better. But yeah, I don't profess to say that Little Miss Steel is the best comic ever made. I don't profess to say that I'm the most talented artist ever. I'm just a guy who likes to make artwork. I like to tell stories, and I like to tell it in a way that that harkens back to what I loved growing up, which was the cartoons I watched in the 2000s and the 90s. I watched cartoons older than that too. I loved the original Transformers and classic Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, Flintstones. I loved all of that. I watched a lot of Boomerang growing up. But then they started putting cartoons that I started watching growing up. They started putting them on Boomerang. I'm like, no, you can't put the cartoons I watched on Boomerang. That's the old person channel. But anyway, yeah, I do think your artwork is refreshing. Thank you. It's not the most detailed thing ever, but it's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be super detailed. It's supposed to be cartoony. So yeah. But yeah. Also, if you grew up in the 2000s, there's tons of references for you to get here. All the titles of this are either song lyrics or song titles, or in the case of death metal, is just the name of a villain, but also the name of a genre of music. So my music stopped. Let me get Coliseum Leader Joe's theme here. Now we're jazzy. I'm especially not excited for what's going down in the EV verse tomorrow. Oh, whatever. You don't gotta worry about that. It's not what you think or whatever. Nomad's talking about like my other artwork stuff where I just do like just individual artworks, just posting every day. It's how I practice. But anyway, yeah, I think that basically kind of sums up everything I wanted to do with this stream. I wanted to show some artwork. I wanted to kind of elaborate on more things. I'll check Twitter again. I would wait a full minute to block an ad. Bro, people are liking this comment like crazy. What the heck? Excuse me. People are liking this comment a lot. That's funny. Yeah, nothing really new. Sorry, my brother came in. He was talking about stuff. Let's see. Excuse me. Hail Elasmat and Noma. Hail Lorenzo. As for Lua Steel, I haven't read Volume 4 yet because finals are coming up. Good luck with the finals, bro. That's right. It is December tomorrow, isn't it? That's crazy, man. Years flown by. Anyways, I gotta get going. My shift is almost over. All right. Get back to work, Mr. Squidward! I can't do the impression as good because I'm sick. Oh yeah. This is really funny. I did a video actually of like a week ago looking at my old art and just... No, I would not ask Grok to explain this post. Shut up. Anyway, the old artwork from 2019, man, it's the bones of it are still here. The bones of the art style is still here. The like you can see it, right? You can see where like, yeah, okay, that is EV Comics artwork. That is it. But there's so much that's just so bad about it. There's too for the art style to be so simplistic. There's too much hair detail. There's too much spikes to the hair. God, I don't even know where to be. I don't even know where to begin, man. Excuse me. The cough drop ain't working. Yeah, this was my first project. If you're unfamiliar, this was my first project, which was not a full comic. It was essentially a book with pictures, called The Monaco, and it's about this guy Simon. He's a half demon, and basically the demons are here to collect on the contract, and he's got to team up with a quirky exorcist girl, and try to survive. And there's like, there's some things here that are like, there's some things here that like you can see it. You can see where it developed later on. But good Lord, man, it's rough, man. And the funnier thing is too, is I even went back in 2021. Let me find that. Let me find that, man. Issue 1. Where's the redrawn one? Oh, do I not have it? Do I not have it? No. Okay, well here's... Okay, yeah, I've got it, but it's not quite the same. Here's like how it basically looked. It was like you had 2 or 3 paragraphs to read, and then you had like a picture. And sometimes when I was lazy, I would make you read 5 paragraphs to get to the next picture. How dare I? But even this, like, this is 2 years afterwards, and you can see it still doesn't look nearly as good as my stuff does today. But it also looks a million times better than the first one. There's still a lot of things wrong with this, but there's a lot more right about it than before. And it's just funny looking back at old art, man. It's just funny. It reminds you, man. It reminds you how far you've come. So much better, so much better. And I'm still improving too. That's the great part about it. I will always keep improving. And 5 years from now, I'll look back at this and be like, wow. Wow, my art used to look like that. Now it looks way better. So that's what we all hope for, right? The pick has motion, at least. It does have motion. Like, again, there's some things that you can see. I see what he was going for. But God knows. Oh man, pain. It's fun though. It's educational. It's fun. But yeah, I'll go ahead and hop out for now. I think. I'll get some grub, because it's about dinner time. Actually, it's getting pretty close to it, so. But yeah, I'll go ahead and hop off. Thanks you guys for checking this out. Thanks for I guess, sticking around and checking out the comic. Make sure to leave a good review, good comment. Comment your theories down below. And tell me what your favorite character is. So, I'll try and stream again next week. I go back to work, so. Not gonna have as much free time, but I will try and get on stream sometime next week. So, thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for more.